Kelly Roditis is a Sydney-based blogger taking us along her search to find the best Gyro joints in town. She joins me to chat all about it. Hi.
Hi, good morning from Sydney. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So one of the things that shocked me when I was learning a little bit more about you is that you actually ended up in the hospital from eating gyro. What happened?
I love that everyone always starts with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually probably one of my proudest moments to date. I was in Athens in 2019. I was visiting my mom, and I just had discovered how obsessed I was with gyro at the time. So I was eating it nonstop every single day, 3 times a day for a whole week. And apparently that's not a good thing to do. And my body just completely crashed. I just woke up one day and I was feeling very, very ill. And my mom's like, we've got to take her to the hospital. We don't know what's wrong with her. So they took me to the hospital and they're like, okay, well, what have you been eating? And I said, and then he's like, okay. Doctor's like, what else have you been eating? I said, no, that's pretty much it. And he's like, what did you eat yesterday? I'm like, He's like, and the day before that? I'm like, I've just had for a week. He's like, well, that's your problem. He's like, he's Buffy overdose. So they literally put me on a drip and I had to stay in there, and they gave me all these like anti-nausea tablets. And the worst part about it was that I had to be put on a ban for 4 days. So those 4 days, just the time was not passing. I did not know what to eat. I had to actually eat, home food. Oh. And on the 4th day, I went back for it.
I was going to say, what's the first thing that you ate after those 4 days was gyro?
I waited until the 4th day to get over that. But that was the point that I realized, okay, I actually have a real obsession with this food. And the good thing is that along the way, I had taken all these photos of all the gyro that I had eaten in Athens. And so then my friends in Greece were just like, Kelly, just make an Instagram about it. And so I made a page about it as a joke. And I started putting all the gyro I had eaten. And I forgot about that page until last year when we were in lockdown in Sydney. And I reinvented myself as the Gyros Queen.
So tell me where your love of gyro comes from, because I know it has to do with visiting Greece for the first time since you had moved to Australia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I had it when I was little. I think I might have been 11 years old at the time. And I just remember that moment. It was completely life-changing. I actually remember it in full detail because I was wearing these brand new jeans that I was excited to wear. You know, the ones like we used to wear back in the day that had like the scratches on them, and they were so cool. I was wearing those, and I remember just taking a bite of this, I thought, oh my God, this is the nicest thing ever. And I was so messy that the oil dripped all over the brand new jeans. And I remember being very upset about it. Like I was about to cry, but I didn't because it tasted that good. And that was the moment I realized that I loved it.
Nice. The good gyros are always the messiest too, I find.
That's right.
And food also is a big way to connect with culture as well, which makes finding the best spots to eat really important. So is that one of the reasons why you started the blog as well?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm really big on food. I love eating food. And like you said, I mean, it's one of my favorite pastimes to have with my friends, with everyone. I think sharing a meal is something that's actually very intimate, and having them over and even having dinners at home. But when I was during the lockdown, I started putting all these photos of the gyro I had eaten. And because during the lockdown, it's a very hard time for all small businesses. Everyone was struggling. And right now, again, because we have so many COVID cases, unfortunately, there's a lot of businesses that are struggling. They had realized that the more that I was putting these photos of local Greek shops here, that their business was going better. So it started off as a joke, but in the process, I realized that I was actually helping local Greek businesses thrive and get back into the swing of things. And so then I took it a bit more seriously, and I started visiting the Greek restaurants and doing advertising for them. And now it's been, I think, 6-7 months that I've been doing that. And even advertising and promoting some restaurants in Melbourne as well. So yeah, it's going quite well.
Nice. And I love how it turned into a bit of a community initiative as well. So how does it work? Do people send you spots to visit as well?
I will say this, in Sydney, I think I've been to all of them.
Oh, okay.
I know. I think I've been to, I would say pretty much most of them. But yeah, sometimes people just send me messages and they're like, hey, come and try out our restaurant, or this is a really good recommendation, and I will go there. But I mean, I haven't had any bad gyro, to be honest, in Sydney, so that's a good thing. People know what they're doing.
So Kelly, gyro is the ultimate street food. And because you are the gyro queen, I have to ask, what makes for the perfect gyro?
I think the secret is all in the pita, to be honest, because I've had some souvlakia that the meat was phenomenal and then the pita was just falling apart, and that just ruins it for me. And also it's just a matter of, practicality, holding it. You don't want it to be breaking while you're eating it. So I think the perfect gyro is a really good fluffy pita, preferably like the ones that they make in Greece. I know a lot of places here actually import them. The tzatziki has to have the perfect ratio of yogurt to garlic. You don't want to have that afterwards, like the tzatziki breath. That is the worst thing.
Yeah.
And the meat has to be marinated very well. So I'd say those three things. But of course, it really depends on the way you eat it. Because, for example, I eat it with everything, mea pola. So if you don't do that, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. It always has to have fries in it too. Like if it doesn't have fries in it, what's the point at that point?
It just has to.
Nice. So what are your top spots in Australia, but also in Greece for gyro?
Oh, that's a tricky one. Here in Sydney, there are a few that are my personal favorites. For example, there's one, I mean, you would know this, but there's one in Surrey Hills, and then there's one in Ramsgate that I absolutely love. There's a few in Melbourne as well. In Athens that I've visited the gyro shops in Athens. There was one particular one that I just was crazy about, and that one's called Street Souvlaki. And the reason why it stood out was because they put truffle mayo as well. And it just blows it out of the ballpark. That was something else.
Nice. So getting innovative then as well.
That's right. Yeah.
And what are your favorite foods other than gyro?
Oh, well, I absolutely live off ice cream. I can't. No matter what diet I'm doing, I can't stop ice cream or gelato ever. And I'm a really big pizza eater. Like I think anything with carbs.
So Kelly, tell us a little bit more about you. Aside from being the gyro queen, what do you do?
So I've studied media journalism. I currently work in advertising, so promoting a lot of different brands, mostly luxury brands. That's my day job pretty much. And yeah, apart from that, I like to play a bit of piano, as you can see behind me. But I'd say that eating is like my favorite hobby. I like going out with friends. I mean, today it's going to be a nice 30-degree day, going to hit the beach a little bit, and then hopefully visit Greece again in the summer. That's the plan. We'll see.
Yeah, fingers crossed, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Kelly, tell us, what is next for the Gyro Queen? Where are you going to be taking us? What are you going to be showing us? I want to know.
Well, the plan is long term to hopefully take it all around the world.
Nice.
My goal in life is to try Gyro in like as many cities as possible. So I want to be visiting all of Europe, the Greek shops there. I want to definitely be visiting Canada, the States, and I want to try all the Gyro and how people do it differently all over the world, and hopefully get some nice photos in there and have people enjoying it along the ride. So that's the dream.
Nice. And what I love about food blogs as well is that there really is a big connection to it, especially when it comes to culture as well. And it's one of the biggest ways to share stories and to share culture is through food. So I love what you're doing as well.
Thank you so much. And I really think that, Greek food is a real big part of our culture. I mean, it's not only the fact that we're so good at it because we have so many different foods. Of course, it's not just souvlaki, it's not just, I'm acknowledging all of our cuisine. It's amazing. But it's something that we should really pride ourselves on. I think the amount of effort that goes into it, the amount of love as well. It's definitely a big thing for us being Greek.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you find as well living in Australia and outside of Greece that it's even more important to find those spots as well to get a taste of home?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's something that we really need to hold on to, our traditions and our heritage. And I mean, if we're just doing that, even by, sharing Greek food, at the end of the day, that's still us. It's something that reminds us of our culture. So it's definitely very important.
It is. And that's why I love what you're doing. Kelly, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you. And if you're not already, head over to social media to follow Kelly on Instagram. That's at the Gyro Queen.